Well, this is a take two because microphone battery went dead in the first one. So we'll do that again. Embarrassing. So I'm back out to this location, this beautiful location, and I love this place because I feel I found it as an Astro location. It's not one that is well known, and it's only accessible at certain times of the year. So, and there's certain things about it that I really, really like. But I digress. What I'm going to start off with, also I came out here because it's not going to be accessible for much longer once the weather starts coming through. I thought I was going to get rained out tonight and it would have turned into a mudslick, but we're good. I also felt I will go into some more detail about using the Benro Polaris. Might be controversial. There's pros and cons with the whole Benro thing. A lot of Benro users are unhappy with it. I am not unhappy with it because for what I need it to do, it does really, really well. It's expensive, but it's very well built. They may have neglected firmware updates and that kind of thing. I have used it for Astro tracking with longer focal lengths to do things like Orion and so forth. But that's not what I bought it for. What I bought it for, it does perfectly, which is doing the automated panoramas. As I've said previously, I don't stack, I don't track. It can do both of those things, but I don't use it for that because I usually have very complex foregrounds, and again, not into compositing and substituting foregrounds and backgrounds and that kind of thing. But for what it is, it does very well. So I'm just going to go into the basic setup. I've got it on a leveling head. So that's the Benro Polaris without the Astro. The Astro module is there to do the actual Astro tracking. So I'm not using that tonight. So first things first, and what I would recommend to anyone who's got a Benro Polaris, external battery pack. Just don't even think about using it without one. I think it solves a myriad of problems. There's only so much battery power you can fit into that. So just give it external power. A good power supply, power delivery type USB-C, big ass battery pack. That will solve so many problems for a lot of people. Okay, so that's power. Now, we're going to pop in the camera. And in this case, it's my Sony A7R5 with a Sigma Art 14mm 1.4. Yes, Big Daddy. Which works really well with this because you've got a rotating collar, which is perfect for this sort of application. Now, so there we are there. Then all we need to do is make our connection to the Polaris. Now in this case, unfortunately, with the upgrades to Sony's newer models and firmware, hang on, plug in our camera USB here. Turn off. Turn off. I've got to use a adapter to get to micro USB, which is unfortunate, because in the previous model I could plug it into the USB-C and it would connect and charge the camera. So we don't have that option anymore, unless something changes. But basically, that's good to go. So we'll shut that, turn the camera on. And for any Benro users, when it comes to turning on the Benro, it's one and hold. That's how it goes. One, then one and hold. So the second press, you just hold it. That's all you need to do. A lot of people have trouble with that, and I think a lot of the times that problem is solved when you've got a battery pack. So I'm going to start our Benro app. Found it. And USB mode on the camera. Shooting, enable. And as you can see, we are good. So from here, we can actually go into the various modes of the Benro. In my case, I'm going to go into the panorama mode, and we can move the camera around remotely. Up, down, and all that. That's where we set our start points and our end points. And yeah, it works really well. Only thing I will add is, for Benro users, start your Milky Way panoramas at the high point, because for some reason, again, this is the firmware problem that Benro just is not up with. The hardware is great, software not so great. Your start point, set that as high, because quite often it'll crop off the top of your Milky Way panorama if you start at the lower point. So start at the top and you'll be fine. And for me, why it works so well is because I can get my composition, I can set my start and end points of the Milky Way, and I can change compositions just by moving the tripod and the camera. And I don't have to change anything else in the settings. All I have to do is change where it's located. And that gives me and I can actually, while that's taking the photos, I can move on and look for another composition or adjust. And I can do it without feeling like I'm wasting my time. It's like, start something up. If something goes wrong, if say you're at the Pinnacles or something and a car comes through and the headlights go in, you can just restart it. You don't have to, you don't feel like you're wasting your time. So that's why I find it so useful and a great creative tool, because it takes the mechanical aspect of it, of moving something a certain amount. It takes that out of it. You set your focal lengths and the amount of overlap you want, your frame size of the camera and everything else, and it will do all the rest for you. So, and you can see on your phone screen what it's actually capturing. And, you know, it's a lot of money for something to do just that. But for the amount of joy I get out of using it, I don't know, I've found it completely worth it. Other people might have a different experience. But anyway, I'm going to get on tonight, do some crazy lighting, I think, because there's not much else to do here. Once I've got my few compositions done, I'm going to play around a little bit. It's not too cold, so it could get interesting. Let's see. Okay, bit of guerrilla filming here. I've taken my head torch off and hung it on a dead tree for lighting. This is the beauty of having an auto panorama type head with the Polaris. Where I was set up before, and the Milky Way is always going to be changing through the night, and it wasn't quite right. I didn't like the initial composition. I hadn't got it sorted. So now all I have to do is move it across, which I've already done, to reposition. And as long as my start point is still pointing towards where the Milky Way starts and ends, I can just keep recomposing all through the night with different compositions. I can move in closer, move it further away, change the lighting, everything else, and I can keep doing it without having to spend time taking each shot. I can focus on the composition and every composition and tweak them until I'm really, really happy with them. So yeah, that's where we're at. Unfortunately, I have to restart this one because I walked away with my phone and lost the connection. So I have to start the whole, reset the panorama sequence, but my start point will stay the same and all I have to do is set the end point. So I'm going to do that now and turn off the lights.